There's a moment in every woman's life when she finally gets quiet enough to hear her own truth. And that truth whispers, I can't keep living like this. For me, that moment didn't begin as an adult. It started when I was little. I was born into a world full of addiction and instability, not because my parents didn't love me, but because they were fighting demons I didn't yet understand. And when you grow up in that kind of environment, you don't learn safety, you learn survival. You learn to be strong before you ever learn to be held. You learn to shrink yourself because chaos takes up all the space. And the truth is, I didn't just grow up around addiction. I eventually lost both of my parents to it. Losing them shattered a piece of me and forced me into a choice. And that choice was repeat what I came from or rise from it. But pain doesn't disappear just because you pretend it's not there. Unhealed wounds will always find their way out. Years later, I found myself with someone who broke me in ways I didn't even know were possible. It wasn't just abuse in every way imaginable. It rewired my sense of self. And when I saw my generational pain showing up in my children, pain they never asked for, pain I never meant to hand down, something inside me broke in a way I can't fully explain. And in that moment, I made myself a promise that this cycle ends with me. On August 13th, 2022, I walked away. And people think that leaving is the hardest part, but it's what happens after you leave that forces you to face everything you spent years avoiding. A year later, I went to Florida because I felt empty. I didn't know what I needed. I just knew that I couldn't keep living the way I was. I needed something to wake me back up. The moment I stepped into that ocean, something in me cracked wide open. The waves moved around me like they recognized every wound I had been carrying alone. I walked onto that sandbar, and suddenly it felt like a heavy force pushed me straight to my knees. Like the universe was saying, it's time to let go. And that's when I cried for the little girl no one protected. I cried for the woman who kept choosing pain. I cried for the woman who wanted to break the cycle, but didn't know how. And as I surrendered with the ocean holding me, I heard a voice whisper in my right ear, I need you to use your story as someone's survival guide. And in that moment, my body was flooded with chills, and I understood the assignment. That was the moment everything changed. I walked out of that ocean a different woman, not healed, not finished, but awake. And that awakening became Deep Waves Life Coaching. Not a business, but more of a lifeline, a safe place for women who have carried too much for too long and are finally ready to rise. So if you're listening and your chest feels tight and your eyes may be watering because my story sounds a little too close to your own, please hear me. You don't have to keep breaking in silence. You don't have to heal alone. And you don't have to stay strong with nowhere to fall. Your healing matters. Your story matters because you matter. And when you're ready to rise, Deep Waves will be here to walk that journey with you. Love you. Stay strong today.